Alright, welcome back to Daryl D TV. We're going to talk about some more Rap 45s. This is part 2 of some of the rarest 45s in my collection. Rap 45s in my collection. Let's take a look at another 10. Now, if you saw the first video, thank you for watching. If not, you might want to go and check that video out first before we get into this next video. Because we got some really cool stuff to talk about, all right? So let's just get started. We're going to start off real hot. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, I pulled out 10 Rap 45s from my collection that are rare or my favorites for some reason or another. They're definitely rare to me personally. Might not be to you or the next guy or gal. But they're definitely rare to me. Maybe because the value has shot up. Maybe because I don't see them very often. Maybe because there was just a small pressing of them. Who's to say? But I would love to share some of these with you, which is what I'm going to do right now. So we're going to start off hot because all of these records are hot in their own right. This one... This is cool. I don't remember where I got this from. This is Snoop Dogg. What's my name? How often do you see Snoop Dogg on 45? I'm guessing not very often. I don't know of a whole lot of Snoop that came out on 45. This one is definitely an import. And I do believe this is out of the UK. It just features the same song, the radio mix and the clean radio mix and the clean club mix on here. So check that out. Like that on one side, and then you got that going on the other side. This has got to be a UK import. I didn't buy this when the song first came out, of course. I think I've only actually owned this less than 10 years. I've owned this less than 10 years. So this was what I'm going to call a recent pickup. But I can't remember where I got it from. I've never spun it. Because when I just looked at this label, I realized I've never seen that label before. And, you know, What's My Name is not really a song that I would pull out at the club either. We all know this song. There's a lot better Snoop songs that I can play if I'm going to play at all. So there you have that. Now this one is a cool one. This is Notorious B.I.G. and this is the Big Papa Warning 45. I definitely got it for the Warning song. Now this one, the cool thing about this is I bought this in my hometown of Milwaukee from one of my favorite record stores. There's a store there called Musical Memories. They've been there as long as I can remember. I started shopping there in the early 90s. They're on the east side of Milwaukee. They have everything. I wouldn't suggest going in there unless you are a serious, heavy, deep crate record digger like myself. Because I'll tell you right now, their prices are not cheap. Shockingly, some of their 45s can be very reasonable. And I'm going to show you a few more throughout these 45 videos of records that also came from Musical Memories. Their albums, everything in that store, as a matter of fact, every single record in that store is mint condition, which is one of the reasons why you're not going to walk out of there with too many cheap items. Now, it just so happens, if I remember correctly, I bought this 45 for $7. And I think I've owned this probably for less than 10 years. less than 10 years I've had this record. But yeah, that's where I got it from. But yeah, they've got some crazy, crazy stuff. And that store is filled from every inch of that store, from the floor to the ceiling, is completely packed with the mintiest records you've ever seen. It's a great, great place to dig if you got them ins, if you know what I mean. Next up, now if you looked at my first video, the part one, then I talk about this one dealer who had all of these crazy 45's, crazy cheap mint 45's at a record show that they were selling for 50 cents. Here's one that I ended up having already, but I bought this one for 50 cents too. This is MC Shan, Juice Crew Law. If you know, then you know that any of these cold chillin' 45's have some serious value to them. And this was one of those records I picked up at a record show here, where the guy was just, he had all these, rap and R&B 45's that ended up being 50 cents a piece, which was totally insane. But to catch the full story on that, check out part one of this video series. Now this next one is interesting. This is De La Soul. This is Me, Myself, and I, 45, as you probably guessed. The B-side to this one is Brainwashed Follower. Now, what's interesting about this record is there are a lot of De La Soul, Me, Myself, and I, 45's floating around out there. The problem is not a lot of them are floating around here in the United States. This is an import, a UK import. It's out of England. And they never, to my knowledge, they never pressed a US 45 of this song. There's no US pressing of Me, Myself, and I that I know of. Not unless somebody recently made one, like these newer labels that are reissuing everything. They may have done one. I'm not exactly sure, but when this dropped, there was no U.S. pressing. But they're all over Europe. I mean, they're all over Europe, and from what I'm told, you can find these in the dollar bins over there. I know you can look some of these up on some of these different websites, and they're only $2, $3, $4, on a lot of these sites. But because they're all overseas, by the time you pay shipping, this $2, $3, $4 record turns into a $25, $35, $40 record. So it's rare as far as being here in the United States and me seeing them. I don't recall seeing this more than maybe once or twice. One of those with me buying it. That's what the label looks like, the Big Life, which is a European company. You just don't see them a lot over here. So if you're ever over there in Europe, in different places, UK, Amsterdam, Belgium, some of these places, you better grab them, because otherwise you're going to pay that shipping. And, that shipping will break the bank a lot of times, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, De La forever. This next one, this is interesting. This is Damu the Fudge Monk. Let me take this out of this bag. He did this song, man, I'm not gonna remember the group. It's a group with him and this MC, and I cannot remember the name of the group that they have, but they had this song called oh man, I just screwed this up. Don't Do It. Don't Do It is the song. Somebody help me out with that. I mean, I could look it up, but we're not going to do that. But that's kind of like the first time I discovered who Damu is. I hope I'm saying Damu right, too. But once I heard that song, yeah, it's called Don't Do It, I started looking for a lot of his stuff. And then I would find a lot of his 45s. I believe I found this one in Atlanta at, what's the name of that? Criminal Records in Atlanta, I believe is where I picked this one up. There's a song on here on the A side called Spirit of Uma. And the B side is called Coffee Run. It comes with a wraparound picture sleeve. And that's what the label looks like. That's one side. There's the other side. Now I know, well, I found out back then that a lot of his records, especially his 45s, he would do these limited runs and people would snatch him up because he's an incredible beat maker. And then after they would sell out, the value would kind of shoot up in price. I'm not exactly sure if that's what happened with this one, but I just know I was grabbing this stuff, and I know this has some value to it now. I definitely can't get it for retail or a little over retail nowadays. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of you producer guys or those that follow producers are very familiar with this guy. All right, let's go back to musical memories in Milwaukee, because here's another one that I found in that store. Let me show you this part first. That's how much I paid for it. $3 for this 45, jukebox 45 in mint condition. This is Dilated Peoples, The Platform on 45. The B-side features Annihilation. That's the first and only time that I've ever seen this 45 out in the field. I know this definitely has some serious value. One of those records I like to spin when I'm doing these underground 45 parties, you know, bang somebody's head with this one and they, oh, where'd you get that? Yeah, I got it from Milwaukee for Musical Memories for $3, baby. That's where I got it from. How many of you have seen this Dilated Peoples 45? I'm guessing not a whole lot. So, since we went back to Musical Memories in Milwaukee, now let's go back to Atlanta and let's go back to Criminal Records, and let's pick up this 45. I actually had to do a little research on here, because pathetically, and I'm known for doing this, I bought this record. I must have bought this record at least 10 years ago. At least 10 years ago, give or take a year, and I've never actually played it. This is a group called Union, and I guess they're out of Europe somewhere. Never heard of them, and I picked this up because of the features on here. This is it's white vinyl. The name of the song is Analogtronics, which is what they're also known for. Their name, Union Analogtronics, or just Union, whatever the case is. But there's a song. The song is called Analogtronics, I guess. And one of these, I don't know. This print is so tiny. Wings Redef Remix. Okay, let's just go with that one. July of 2011. How do you pronounce? I never knew how to pronounce the guy's name who used to be in Slum Village. Elazai, whatever his name is. He's featured on one song, and then the B side is a Power Outage mix featuring MF Doom. And there's two different songs on here. One was, it says, what does it say? January or July 2011. This print is so small. And the other one says September of 2011. And both of them, let me grab my little magnifying glass. Both of them feature MF Doom and Coco Mango. And one and Y Society, or Y Society Powder Outage Mix featuring Inside, and the other one is the Redef Boy Scout Remix. I don't know. It was distributed by Fat Beats, and there's the little white sticker on the sleeve that it came in. But the bottom line is, I bought this and I never listened to it. I never listened to this record. I don't know how this record sounds, but I know I recently looked it up, and it goes for a pretty penny. I think I paid $6 or something, $6-7. What does it say on there? Oh, $9. I paid $9 for this, and I specifically remember this one and the Damu 45 because they had like a few boxes of 45 sitting right on the counter, and I was flipping through those, and that's where I found both of these. So I know whenever I see this one especially, and I see the little white sticker, I remember standing there at the counter and digging through that stuff. And for the record, like Criminal Records, they've been around a long time, and they have always kind of been a... Well, let me just put it this way. Obviously, if you love records, you can go there. But if you love comic books, they have a huge comic book selection in there. And then if you love toys, action figure type toys, rap toys, all of that kind of stuff, they have a huge selection of toys in there too. And not these little punk toys you see at Target or whatever, or Walmart. They got like the real deal Holyfield type of toys in that store. So it's really, really cool. Been around a long time. They do all kind of in stores with different artists or different reasons or whatever. But yeah, check them out if you're ever in the Atlanta area. All right. Okay, here's a very interesting one. This is a Beastie Boys record. And before I get into that actual 45, let me just start where this starts at. Let me pull this out. So this is the Beastie Boys Check Your Head vinyl box set. Okay? This came out, I don't know when it came out, a long time ago. I've only pulled this out maybe 2-3 times ever. And what this features is all of the 12 inches. All of the 12 inches and the album from Check Your Head. Now I bought Check Your Head way back in the day, but all of these like 40 or all of these 12 inches and singles and stuff, all of this is featured, you know, in this box set. I've never really had to pull this stuff out because I bought the album and I have all of this stuff, but I bought the box set because I am a huge Beastie Boys fan. If you take a look at some of my videos, you'll confirm that. But what happened was, what they did was, anybody who bought this box set, the Beastie Boys took a 45 from their personal collection. Whatever that was. It could be anything. It could be anything. But they took a 45 from their personal collections, all of the guys, and they would take 145 and they would put it in each of these box sets. If it wasn't a 45 from their personal collection, then it ended up being this 45, which has Lee Majors, what does that say? Lee Majors Coming In on one side, and on the other side was an acapella for a song called B-Boys in the Cut. Now these songs hadn't been released up until that point that I know of. You could only get them here. So of course, people who bought this box set, everybody wanted this. Some people got this. Some people got another 45, a random 45 from their collection. I know my homeboy Drunk Jeff, he got like some random 45, but I got lucky and I actually got this 45. I always laugh at him whenever we talk about that. But yeah, so I looked out and got the OG, and you can definitely find this 45, but it's going to cost you a pretty penny, if you buy it. But, I have by the way, I have a lot of Beastie Boy videos. If you're a Beastie Boy fan, please go check out. I got 2 or 3 of them that I'm sure you'll enjoy. But anyway, yeah, this is one of my, not only from one of my favorite groups of all time, but a rare 45 from that group. So I got lucky on this one, very fortunate, and I'm very happy to have that in my collection. Here's another one. This is another one of those 45s. It's just like the De La 45. This is a Tribe Called Quest, Can I Kick It? This is a definite import from the UK. And again, you don't find these here in the States. You don't see them floating around unless, somebody brings them or whatever. But obviously you're not going to see them because they never really pressed up a US pressing of this song. So I was happy to get this. The side A features a Boiler House mix, and then the B side is just a regular 7-inch radio mix. You can barely see it, but if you look real close, I got Jarobi to sign that for me. Ran into him at a club in New York. But yeah, you can get these pretty reasonable if you're over in England somewhere. But here in the United States, a little harder to find. And then usually when they pop up, they're more than a few bucks, which is what you would find it for overseas. The last one I want to show you, this one is cool. I wish I could play this for you, but I didn't set up my, I don't even know where my portable turntable is. I usually have it right here. Where's my turntable? That is weird. Weird. Anyway, this is a 45 bootleg, and it's simply titled Mob Deeper. Now, DJ Ted Smooth, the remix king out of New York City, put this together. And basically what he did, for the most part, there's no words on here. But you know that, what was it, Herbie Hancock, the sample that was used for the Shook Ones song, the sample? Well, he took that original sample, and then he looped the sample, and then he threw like those beats behind it, those Mobb Deep beats behind it, and then he just kind of made this nice intro and then a really dope loop of the song. And it's crazy. It's crazy. I should have, if I would have prepared a little better, I would have played some of this for you. But I found this in New York at Rock and Soul in Manhattan. You know what Rock and Soul is. If you don't, you need to find out. I wish I had grabbed a lot of these, but I grabbed this one. I thought it was cool. You know what I mean? I thought it was cool. And so I bought a copy. I held on to it. I play it every now and then. I held on to it for a while, and then I just wasn't feeling it after a while. Not enough to keep it. So I actually put it online, and I was trying to sell this off, and nobody was interested in it. So I took it down, and I listened to it again, and I guess that time it just like hit me. It hit me just right. You know what I mean? And I was like, man, this is incredible. I had a whole new appreciation for it. So then I really started playing it, and it seemed to me like people really, really started feeling it after I really started playing it harder. I would go as far as saying nobody else in Phoenix has this record. If you do, I want to know. But I'm going to go as far as saying nobody else has this record. Anyway, and this has been a while, maybe a couple years ago, I tried looking this up, and it was, at the time, it was going for $80, and I guess now it's going for a little bit more than that. But it's staying in the collection this time permanently. It's not going anywhere, and yeah, I'm going to continue dropping this, you know, at these 45 parties, and it's one of them records I pull out when I'm just trying to bang on people, you know what I'm saying? Because I know they ain't got nothing like this in their collection. So yeah, there you have it. There's 10 more rare joints from my personal collection. I'm glad you guys hung out. There will be a part 3 at some point. I've already pulled some out that I want to show you. But we'll be back, man. Thank y'all for hanging out. This is Daryl D. Y'all stay safe. Peace and love.